all the time. A master is like a fragrance that you can experience and enjoy. That is why you are drawn here again and again and again. See, understand one thing. Every moment is beautiful if you are ready to receive and see it. It is not that only when we are celebrating a function or we have seen success or when we have achieved something, the moment is beautiful. Every single moment is beautiful because existence simply flows spontaneously and joyfully, and all the events happen in synchronicity all the time. When you understand this, nothing will ever seem wrong to you. You will then wonder what people are complaining all the time about. When you feel gratitude towards existence, the whole of existence becomes a temple to you. Then you are in a prayerful and meditative mood anywhere you are. You no longer need to go to temples and pray. You simply merge with the whole and feel blissful all the time. When the whole of existence becomes a temple, the trees, the sky, the earth, everything becomes one. When you bow down before it, what can you ask for? You will simply bow down with gratitude for being part of the profound existence, that's all. When this happens, you can relate to the trees, you can relate to the sky, to the earth, and to everything else. You will then move from communication, which is the language of the mind, to communion, which is the language of the heart. You then shift your center from your mind to your heart. For those of you who believe that God answers your prayers, let me tell you one thing. God is so compassionate that most often than not, He leaves your prayers unanswered. It is like this. When a child asks for an ice cream when he is suffering from a cold, do you give it to him? No, you don't give it to him. Now the child might feel ungrateful to you for it, but you know that you are doing your best for the child because he does not know that what he is asking for is not the right thing for him at that time. In the same way, with your deep ignorance, you don't know what is best for you, but you keep asking God for various things. But out of pure compassion, God gently brushes aside your prayers and bestows you with the things that you actually need. And He prods you on towards better intelligence, which is His only concern for you. Remember, the more your inner intelligence grows, the lesser you pray or ask. What can you ask God for? The moment you ask, it means that you think there are a few things that God does not know. It means that you feel that unless you ask, God will not know. It sounds ridiculous, is it not? Can there be anything that God does not know? Understand, God gives you what you need, not what you want. If He starts giving all that you want, you will move from misery to misery. When He gives you what you need, you will move from intelligence to more intelligence. And somewhere, the asking will drop and gratitude will happen. God gives you the strength and courage that you need to overcome difficulties. He gives you the wisdom to dissolve your so-called problems. He gives you invaluable resource, that is your own updated intelligence to bring you prosperity. He gives you opportunities for you to explore your own love and care. He gives you everything that you need to understand that all that you have is all that you need. He gives you everything that you need for you to mature and flower with the fragrance. The basic problem with all of us is, we are all ready to believe that God has the Shakti or power to give us what we want. But we fail to understand that He also has the buddhi or intelligence to decide whether or not it is good for us. Simply because we believe that God has only power, we keep asking and asking. We always feel that we know what is best for us and pray to God for that. We want to use our intelligence and God's power to get us what we want. We clearly tell Him, this is what I want. This is how things should be. So please do this for me with your power. We give all our wants with our preferences within brackets as prayer to God. This is the attitude that gets us into complications. You have to understand that God not only has the power, but also the intelligence to decide what is good for you. When you understand this, you will stop asking. You think that the whole world is running because of your intelligence. Be very clear. The world is running in spite of your intelligence. You are so used to the concept of trading that it becomes difficult for you to understand that there can be someone who is not even your blood relative and who can take care of you unconditionally without expecting anything in return. It is too much for you to believe. I tell you, existence cares for you like no one else can. This truth I can tell you. This truth I can tell you, but it is up to each one of you to realize this from within, from your own experience. Only then it will be first-hand knowledge for you. I always tell people, I cannot teach you spirituality, but you can learn. I can tell you great truths so that you will at least know what you don't know. But making that truth into an understanding for yourself is up to you. I am ready to tell you how many ever times you want to hear the truth. A small story. Once when Shankara went on a Parivarajaka Yatra, a pilgrimage on foot with his disciples, at one place he was feeling very thirsty. They looked around but could not find anything to quench his thirst. There was only a palm grove where they were producing country arrack. Shankara entered the grove and asked the workers if they had anything to quench his thirst. They said they had nothing except the country arrack. Shankara asked for the country arrack and drank it. The disciples saw Shankara drinking. Immediately, they also asked for the arrack and drank it. The arrack did not affect Shankara because he is an enlightened being, having boundaryless consciousness. He walked on steadily, but his disciples are staggering behind him. After a few days, again they were walking, but this time in a desert area. They felt thirsty, and this time they saw only an iron forgery. Nothing else was available. Shankara asked the worker attending there if there was anything to drink. The worker said there was nothing to drink. But Shankara saw the molten iron, the liquid iron, and he asked the worker for it and drank it. After drinking the liquid iron, he turned to his disciples and offered it to them. The disciples were simply shocked. Shankara wanted to make them understand that they should do what he says and not what he does. The arrack did not affect him because he was established in boundaryless consciousness. Unless you have experienced, you will not know. So you cannot simply imitate from outside. It has to happen from inside for each of you. Only then you will know. How committed or how connected you want to feel with the truth is your own decision. I can only help those who help themselves. I can give my hand to lift you up only if you are willing to at least lift your hand to reach out to mine. If you really want to be lifted, you will at least put out your hand to me. Else, I will allow you the freedom to simply be where you are, that's all. That is why I say, God gives you the freedom to be in bondage. Most of us think that we are not helped the way we should be by God. I tell you, God knows you better than you know yourself. This is the truth. You have to understand this, that's all. Just try to drop the doubt and have some faith. That is enough. The rest will be taken care of automatically. A small story. 2 goldfish were inside a fish tank. One of them asked the other, "Do you really believe in the existence of God?" The other replied,